Hey guys, so today we're going to take a look at the Cayin N8. So this is a digital audio player by the Chinese audio company Cayin, who makes a lot of digital audio players and also tube amplifiers and other hi-fi products. This was their previous flagship digital audio player. The current one is the N8 II, the successor, but this is the original N8. Originally retailed for $3,200, I believe, or $3,300, but this is the limited edition brass black version. So the original version had stainless steel chassis, but this limited edition has brass black chassis. So the inside is brass and it's colored black, which supposedly it improves the heat dissipation by a bit. And this one retailed for $3,700 US back in the day. It was 2018, I believe, when the original N8 came out. And you might be wondering, well, why do I have this older digital audio player? Why not the newer one? Well, here's the thing. First of all, the newer one is bigger. It's heavier. The price did not go down so much because it is newer. This version I found, even though it's a limited edition version, which there's only 300 units of the brass black version made, even though it's limited, I still found this one for about $1,000 US, which is a substantial discount from the, $3,700 retail price. So this one was just a much bigger discount. Obviously, it's older. Still sounds pretty good in my opinion. Actually had a few people in the audio group that I'm part of recommend the N8 because this one has a tube inside of it. Actually, it's a tube-powered digital audio player, and that's the Korg NuTube 6P1. I'm familiar with the NuTube. It isn't exactly like a traditional vacuum tube. It's like this newer tube like technology. It reacts pretty similar to a vacuum tube, but it's not actually a vacuum tube. So it's called a Korg NuTube. And this was the first digital audio player to fit that in here. And I think compared to a lot of the other tube-powered digital audio players, this one actually does have a lot of the same tonality and timbre of a tube. So these days, I mean, you see a lot of tube-powered digital audio players. Even Cayin has a few, right? The N8 II, of course, their current flagship does, but supposedly it doesn't sound quite as tubey as the original one, which is this one right here. And they also have the N3 Ultra, which I tried before, which it didn't sound very tubey to me. That one used Jan 6418 vacuum tubes, just some miniature vacuum tubes. Those one didn't sound very much like a tube at all, unfortunately. Astro & Kern has a few players with SP2000T, SP3000T with tubes in it. Those don't sound actually that tubey either, to be honest. And yeah, a lot of the other digital audio players, Shanling, M70, M8T, like there is tube-powered digital audio players, but honestly, they don't sound like that much like a tube, which is supposed to be very warm, analog, natural sounding. The Cayin N8, according to a lot of people in the audio group I'm part of, says that this one is the one that sounds the most like it has a tube in it. And it's interesting because it actually is, it was the first or one of the first, at least in terms of release timeline, like back in 2018 when this came out, I believe it was the first digital audio player with a tube in it. Not a traditional vacuum tube, though, a Korg NuTube. But I'm familiar with it because, I play guitar, and there are guitar amps like the Vox MV50, which I played before with a Korg NuTube inside of it. And it does actually react a lot like an actual vacuum tube. So I find this technology pretty interesting. It's smaller, doesn't require as much maintenance, doesn't suck up as much power as a traditional vacuum tube. So yeah, it's cool that Cayin went with this technology. And this DAP, yeah, this digital audio player, it's really, really unique as well. It's more unique looking than the N8 II, in my opinion. It's actually one of the most unique looking digital audio players on the market, especially when it came out. But even today, it looks really, really unique. So let me give you a rundown of the specs here. So the DAC inside of this thing is two AK4497 EQ. That's Asahi Kasei or AKM's previous flagship DAC. These days, their newer flagship DAC is the AK4499EX, which is actually not really that new, but that's their newer flagship. This is the AK4497 EQ, which is still highly regarded today, to be honest. So still a really good DAC. Has two of those. So in terms of output power, it outputs 230 milliwatts with the standard unbalanced single-ended input, and 400 milliwatts on the balanced output. And keep in mind that the tube is only output through the 3.5 millimeter or unbalanced output. So I think it's just maybe limitations of the circuitry and size, because it is fairly like compact. It's not like the most compact DAP, but it's still fairly compact compared to modern DAPs, right? So it's, yeah, fits okay in my hand. It's not like too crazy or anything. So it's not like really that big. I guess due to the size limitations in the circuitry, maybe they can only fit in the tube output on the 3.5 and not the 4.4, which is unfortunate, but that's how it is. If you want to get the tube flavor out of this thing, you have to use the 3.5. And it has Bluetooth 4.2 with aptX support, no LDAC, unfortunately. And yeah, for this limited edition, they have 24K gold plating on the brass dials right here, which is pretty cool. It's actually like real 24K gold plating on this. That's maybe adding a little bit to the cost there. But yeah, 3.2-inch screen, so it's not really like a big display, but it's enough, I guess. This just being a digital audio player. It's not like you're gonna watch videos on this thing or anything. But yeah, let's go over this digital audio player because it does look really, really unique still to this day. Yeah, the first thing you'll notice is that how the form factor looks. Like a typical digital audio player, like it's just like a brick, basically. It's like a rectangular brick, right? This one, the N8, yeah, it has this like, I don't know how to call this, but it has like kind of this like slanted design here, which is interesting. That makes it look unique. And then this home button here, which is just this like V button. Yeah, that's just kind of unique looking. I've never seen any other digital audio player have this kind of design, especially paired with the dials on the side. So a lot of digital audio players, they have dials on the side, but only one. This one has two. So the two dials here, okay, what do? So the first dial here is a volume dial, but you also press it in to turn the player on. So this also doubles as a power button. So yeah, it's a power button when you press it in, and it's also a volume dial, which is pretty decent feeling. You know, it's not like, I'm not going to say it compares to an Astel and Kern dial. I think those dials are some of the best on the market. They're really like watch crowns. But this one is a standard decent dial, you know, not bad. It's okay. Not the greatest, but not bad either. Wish it had a little bit more texture here, or at least like tell us that it's a power button or something, but it doesn't. Oh well. Now the second dial here is interesting too. So this dial is used for navigation of the playlist of the songs. So usually on digital audio players, you have just buttons, right? Telling you previous track, next track, play, pause, right? You usually have that. In the N8, you have, uniquely only on the N8, you have a secondary dial here, which you have play, pause just by pressing it in. Playing, pausing, and going to the previous track, you just go like this. Use the dial to go up. And then next track, you use it to go down. It's just really, really unique. I've never seen any other digital audio player have this kind of design. So only the original Cayin N8 has this design where, yeah, two dials, one of which is the volume and the power. The other button is used for navigation of the songs, like previous song, next song. Really, really interesting design. I've never seen other digital audio players have that. Usually just have buttons, right, for navigation. So it's interesting. And there's not a whole lot of digital audio players that have two dials in general, like the Cayin Planu. Some of them, like the L and the 2 and 3, I believe, they have dials on the top there, but they're for a little bit different than these dials, and they're not on the side. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, the N8 is basically the only player I know that has this design, which is really cool, and has these guards on the side here as well, which is interesting. I think this is to prevent, maybe to prevent the player from accidentally like bumping into these dials and hitting them or something. But there are these guards here that makes it like you can just make it stand like this. So yeah, I'm not exactly too sure what these are for, but they're there, and then you can even make it stand like this, or maybe it's to protect, you know, things from accidentally bumping to these two dials. I don't know. Nothing on the left side here, and then on the bottom you have a reset button right there. You have an I2S port, which is interesting. Not a whole lot of digital audio players have that either, but basically it's a special audio connection port that you can use to connect to high-end audio devices. So yeah, if you have like desktop devices and stuff, they might have I2S ports, so it kind of looks like a mini HDMI connector. So I think it does use kind of like mini HDMI. But yeah, it's basically a special audio port. So it's like it uses mini HDMI connector. I'm not sure how well you guys can see it. Okay. Then of course you have a micro SD card slot, and then you have USB-C. So this being from 2018, yeah, USB-C was still well in adoption at that time, so still kind of modern, right, in that sense, even though it's still old. And then on the top here, you have a modern 4.4 millimeter balanced output, which is good. A lot of digital audio players from this era tended to have 2.5 millimeter balanced, which is no longer a standard anymore because 4.41, that little balanced connector war. So yeah, 4.4, that's good. You know, most IEMs these days, I think if you buy higher end headphones or IEMs, they'll use 4.4. So you have that, which is nice. Again, 400 milliwatts on that. And then you have your standard 3.5, which is 230 milliwatts. Also, the only one that the tube output will work through. So if you want to get that tube flavor, you got to use the 3.5. And then you got the line out 3.5. So this is just for the line out, which is nice because you don't have to like necessarily just change it in the software. You can just, you know, just go straight to the line out here. You don't have to like go to any software changes. I guess if you want to use line out through the 4.4, that one you'll have to change it through the software. But 3.5 balanced out, I mean line out, 3.5 line out, you don't need to go through the software, just plug it in here. So that's nice. Okay, so yeah, the N8, look at the back here. It's your standard Cayin style. So Cayin's known for kind of, I would say, more understated designs for the back. So nothing really here, it just says master quality digital audio player, N8, made in China. The actual name of the company is Zhuhai Spark Electronic Equipment. And it even tells you the website on the back, cayin.cn. And it comes with, this brass black version comes with a few things. Now I don't have the original box, but it does come with this case here by Dignus. Dignus makes some good cases, I guess. This case by itself would be like around $100, but it has like a heat sink area on the back which dissipates heat, and the cutouts for the, yeah, the little two dials, I guess. So look like this basically when it's in here. And it's a little bit of a hassle to get this in because of the guards, but yeah, once you get it in, here we go, it's like that. So this is what it looks like with the case on and the heat sink in the back. So yeah, that's pretty good. The brass black version does come with this as standard. So usually these cases will cost like $100 or something. These nice leather cases cost around $100 extra if you get them separately. But let's just do the video right now without the case for now. The other extras it comes with, so this is originally what came inside the box, is you get USB-A to USB-C cable, of course, that's expected, but you get some things that are kind of nice little extras too. So you get a, this is a 2.5 to 4.4 adapter. So this is pretty nice extra because I guess at the time 2.5 was this competing balanced standard, right? So if you do have a 2.5 cable, you can adapt it to a 4.4 here. So that's a nice little, giving something extra for people who use 2.5 at the time. And then you have a USB-C to USB, actually, this is like some other adapters for USB-C, right? So you have USB-C to kind of 3.5 here, and USB-C to what looks like, this is like an audio port or something. Not exactly sure. Oh, this is coaxial, digital coaxial or something. So you got like USB-C to 3.5 and USB to coaxial, digital coaxial. So it's pretty interesting, right? I don't know who's going to need that, but maybe some people might need that. It's nice that they threw that in. And on top of that, you get 4.4 to balanced XLR, which is also a really cool thing to throw in. Yeah, all Cayin branded, by the way. Looks really premium too. So yeah, 4.4 to your balanced XLR. If you have any desktop amps in your house, some of them might take in balanced XLR, which is they have two basically XLR inputs for balanced in. So yeah, some like nice higher end desktop amps that you buy, like headphone amps and stuff, they might have this kind of input. So it's nice that Cayin threw these in. That's pretty nice extras that you normally wouldn't get. Okay, so let's take a look at the interface because that's pretty important, right? I think, yeah, the look of this player and the feel of it is really nice and premium. Like with the gold plated dials and everything and buttons, feels really premium. It's definitely a little bit heavy in the hand. It's about 380 grams, which feels sort of substantial. Yeah, it definitely feels like something pretty premium and weighty in your hand. Definitely heavier than your typical phone, for sure. I would say this is not a DAP that you'll be carrying outside too much. I assume that you'll be spending a lot of time using this in either at home or in like sitting down, I would say. It's not a DAP that you would just like take out when you're working out or jogging or something like that. I would say this is like the type of DAP you would use when you're sitting down in a chair somewhere. Like sure, you can still use it when you're traveling, but like in a situation where you're like on a train seat or on like a plane seat or something like that. It's not something that you would just have in your pocket when you're running outside. Definitely not. So keep that in mind. All right, let's turn it on. So this is the intro screen here. It says Cayin, never be the same again. Okay, yep. And yeah, this is the interface here. Now, unlike the later Cayin devices like the N8 II, we don't have Android here. So like the newer devices like N7, for example, I did a video on the N7 a couple months back. Yeah, doesn't have the Android operating system. This is just a kind of proprietary operating system, I think based on Linux, of course, that Cayin used. And yeah, I think as a result, you have to give some things up. So this operating system is not going to have support for Android apps. It's not going to have support for streaming. So if you are a streamer, if you use Spotify or Tidal, then it's not really going to support it here. But here's what you can do here. You can go into folders. I already loaded some things onto the internal storage. It comes with 128 gigabytes of internal storage, by the way. So if you look at the local storage here, let's go to music here. Yeah, so, oops. So yeah, I can kind of just scroll through your storage here. Oops. Yeah, so then you can choose which, you can add entire folders to your playlist, which is interesting. Okay. And then you can go to SD card, of course. You can scan for music. And then if you go list, this is your playlist. So anything that you added to your favorites or your playlist, custom playlist, of course, that you created. Recently played songs, if you want to go back to that. So that's a list there. It's just a nice little quick access. All songs. Oh, I got to scan for the music. Let's do that first. Okay. Okay, done scanning for songs. Let's check it out. Okay, so yeah, this is where you see all the songs. And so you can do a search, but let me show you guys. The search is really not that great on the N8. So basically you would go here. And there's this tiny little like search bar here, and you go here, and yeah, this is an issue. So you can't be bothered just with your like standard Android style keyboard or just your standard keyboard that you're used to in smartphones. Nope, this is a old school keyboard you would see on flip phones. Yeah. This is an old style keyboard you would see on like Nokia phones and like candy bar phones, flip phones, slider phones from back in the 2000s. So basically, yeah, you have this. If you guys are of a certain age, this is how you would do it. So you press the letter, the number of times that you would. So basically, it's 3 letters here per set here. So you press them a certain number of times to get to the proper letter. And so like P, Q, R, S. S is 4, so I had to press this 4 times to get to S. And then, believe it or not, this is actually how we had to text back in the day before smartphones. I know like Gen Z is like freaking out, but this is actually how we had to text using phones before smartphones. Yeah, just like dumb phones, basically you had to text like this. You had to like press the key multiple times, right? So actually, yeah, if I want to search for the Seraphim, for example, I do it like that, and then like that. The Seraphim, like this. And then, okay, that's how I did it. And then you press search button, and then it finds, the group name. In this case, is a K-pop group, the Seraphim. Okay, that's how the search works. It's definitely not great. The fact that you have to use a old style, what do they call it? T9, right? The T9 numpad, keypad actually for searching. That's really, really old school and painful actually to do in today's age. Yeah, I know that's how we texted back in the day, but we didn't have any other choice, you know. These days, it's really, really hard to go back to a T9 style keyboard like that. Like, that's pretty bad. The other method is just by going through here, like scrolling to the letter. And this works too, but it's a little bit laggy when you have a lot of songs. Yeah, so a little bit laggy. And you can see the album covers even take some time to load, right? Like, can just, yeah, it takes some time to load the album covers and everything. It's definitely a little bit laggy here. Yeah, if you just scroll to the letter, you can do that as well. Just wait for the album covers to load. Yeah, so you can do that. Search is not great on this thing. At least it exists, but it's not great. Okay, of course you can go by artist as well. So you can go by artist, right? Different artists, then we can like click into them. Yeah, click into the album. Let's go to like GFriend. Okay, yeah, something like that. Okay, and then we can play a song like that. Okay, and then you can see the song playing down here. Albums. Okay, so these are all different albums, of course. You know, standard. If you have an album that you like, go in there, play it. And yeah, you can just press, if you want to go to the music playing, you just press the bottom button. The bottom button will take you there. So yeah, genre, you can go by genre as well. I don't tend to use the genre option much in music players, so there's that. And then yeah, of course you can go down to the song that you're playing down here, and this is what the music player looks like. You can see the information about the file, 256 kilobytes per second M4A, type of file, the artist, the album cover, song name, of course. You can use the controls down here to go to the next song, right? Or, uniquely, you can use this second dial here to do that. So, go to previous song or go to next song, you can use this. Yeah. And then you can use that, press it in to pause it and play it. It's a really, really unique navigational style. I don't know any other digital audio player that does it like this. Most digital audio players have buttons, right? Previous, pause, and next. But only on the N8 you have this second dial doing this thing. So yeah, it's really kind of unique. And you use it like this to navigate. Yeah, really, really cool, unique control feature of the N8. Yeah, so if you want to see the lyrics, you just swipe to the right, and in this case I have no lyrics there. If you want to see more song information, you swipe to the left, and yeah, you can see more information about the song, the bit rate, the sample, 44 kilohertz, 16 bits, 320 kilobytes a second, genre, like information about that. But other than that, pretty basic player. You can favorite it. You can kind of change if you want to repeat or not. Oops. Shuffle, you can change that setting, add it to a playlist, create a custom playlist. Yeah, delete. You have your basic settings. It's a pretty basic music player. Okay, so another annoying thing about the search is, here, let me show you guys what I mean. Okay, first of all, this touchscreen is not that responsive. Like, sometimes I have to press multiple times to get it to actually do what I want. Okay, so it searches has my search history, which is nice, so it keeps that. But I want to do a new search, and let me show you guys what I mean. So I have this song, Van Halen, Running with the Devil, right? So this one, and say I want to search for it on my Lotoo, it's pretty easy. So pull down from the top, and I can search for Van Halen here. I don't even have to finish typing in the artist name. I can just go like Van Hale, and I can search. I can see like, oh, the results pop up. I see artist, I see album artist, I see songs, right? So I can just search for part of the artist name, and his songs will come up, right? That includes Running with the Devil, right? So that's the one I'm looking for, and I can see that it's right here, okay, Running with the Devil. So yeah, that's pretty easy. I can also just search for a part of the song title, like Devil. I can search for that and have all the songs here which has Devil in its name. In this case, Van Halen 1 pops up as well, right? I can just click on this one and hey, it's running with the Devil. Guess what? I can't do that with the Cayin N8. So here's the thing. If I try to search for just, let me just do the same thing, right? Using this tedious keypad here. If I search for Van Hale, actually, yeah, if I just go here, search for part of the artist name, it won't work. And what if I want to just search for the entire name? Well, nope, that doesn't work either, because guess what? On my Lotoo, it actually indexes the artist name when I search, so I can search for artists as well. But here it looks like because I'm in the songs folder, I can only search for the title of the song. I can't search for the artist who made that song. So okay, maybe that makes sense because I'm in the song category. So let's search for Devil, right? That's part of the song name. So I search for Devil here. Okay, guess what? Nothing. It turns out that the search only works when you search for the beginning of the song title. So I have to go with Run. Okay. And Run works. So now I see Running with the Devil. You see that? Now I see it. So it turns out with the search here, it's actually worse than I thought. You can't search for just part of the song name. You have to search for like the beginning of the song title, which is kind of crazy to me because why do you have to start from the beginning, right? What if I have a lot of songs? Maybe I want to search for just part of the song title that's specific to that song so I can find it easier, right? Maybe I have a lot of songs named Running. Maybe I just want to have like search for Devils faster, right? But nope, it won't work. You got to search for the beginning of the song name. So that's pretty annoying. And yeah, and then like, let's see here, it's a bit unresponsive. Go to artist here. Okay. Now in artist, I should be able to search for Van Halen, right? Let's try this. Oh yeah, I forgot. That's not the, okay. Can I just do Van Halen? I don't think I can, right? Oh, actually, no, I can because it started from the beginning. Yeah, okay, that kind of works. If you search for part of the name, if you search for part of the name, but it has to start from the beginning. Like I can't just do Halen, you know? Like the latter part of the artist name. So I can't just do, whoops. I can't just do Halen. Yeah, see, that won't work. It will work on my Lotoo though. So if I search for just Halen, like this, yeah, you see, Van Halen. I only need to search for part of the name of the artist as well. That just works on my Lotoo. It knows I was searching for Van Halen. The Cayin just does not know that. So I have to search from the beginning of the name. So that's the thing you got to note about the search here is that when you search for stuff, you have to search from the beginning of the song title, the beginning of the artist name, etc. Else it doesn't work. Whereas my Lotoo is so much better with the search. Like I can search for any part of the song title or artist name and it just works. So yeah. Actually, if anything, my Lotoo is a little bit too aggressive because, see, it searches for literally every single time I do an input, it searches for it. It's a little bit too aggressive in that sense. But yeah, I feel like the search could have been done a lot better on the N8. I know that they fixed it kind of with the successors, right? With the new Cayins, it's all using Android. So, I mean, the Android players all work really nice because they actually all use Hibby music or Hibby music to do it. And that has full support with searching and that has a great search functionality. But with their own custom operating system here, I think they really dropped the ball with the search. It really just does not work very well. Okay, so how about accessing the settings? So you can swipe down from the top. So that way it's kind of like Android. So right now I have it on the gain setting here. You can have it set to low gain, or you can set it to medium gain, or you can set it to high gain. So it really depends what you're driving. So if you're on the balanced driving, 400 milliwatts is enough for most. Pretty much every IEM out there will be fine with that. Almost every full-size headphone will be fine with that too. Except for like if you have like really high-end planar magnetics or like a 600 ohm Bayer dynamic, except for those. But for the vast majority of headphones, should be fine. Then you have a solid state or tube. Again, tube is only on the 3.5. But yeah, you can switch between solid state and tube. And when you go with tube mode, you have to wait a while for it to warm up. So it'll preheat the vacuum tube, which you wait about 5 seconds actually before you do that. And then once the vacuum tube is preheated, you see these. So this is the Korg new tube 6P1 kind of heating up here. So yeah, the tube will heat up, and then you'll get your tube output. So that's how you know the tube is actually working. Pretty cool. Something that you'll see in other tube digital audio players as well. Just the N8, I think I've heard this one sounds the most like a tube. But yeah, I mean, it has actual tubes in it. There's just kind of the new tubes, right? So yeah, that's the tube output. Standard or high. This is I think on the powered P actually. Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure. I think this might be for another one of the outputs. Yeah. Balanced or line out. So you can change the 4.4 to balanced or line out because this is just one jack. Of course, 3.5 line out, you just have a separate jack for it. So you don't need something like this. Bluetooth, you can turn on and off, of course, because this is Bluetooth 4.2 with aptX support. USB or DAC, you can switch between when you connect it to your computer, whether you want to act as a DAC or USB. SPDIF digital output or I2S, you can change the nature of the I2S port here. So you can either output in SPDIF or I2S. Either way, it's nice to have that for your home setup. So if you have a desktop setup, home theater setup, you can use it for SPDIF or I2S. DOP, DST output here, or native, or D2P. So you can change the different DSD output. I don't really listen to DSDs much, but you have these options, DOP, native, or D2P. You can change the brightness, of course, and then you can do the about here, where you can kind of see the firmware that's loaded, OTA, model, yeah. So that's the other information about it. Now there's another thing you can pull out from the bottom here, and then you can change the music setting. So play mode, play all. You can change the setting here to repeat, shuffle, repeat, list. Change that. DSD output is native. That's what you can change that in settings. DSD gain compensation, you can change that. Breakpoint resume, you can turn that on or off. Gapless, you can turn on or off. Max volume, you can set the max volume, like right now is 100. So this is what it looks like when you increase the volume. There's a little overlay here. Of course, you can use the physical controls as well, but yeah, this will go up to 100 steps of volume, normal. And then startup volume, yeah, change that. If you want fade in or out, you can change that. Replay gain, track or album, you can choose between that. Line out setting, you can change low, medium, or high. I see. So basically I found out what this is. Okay, so this is the line out setting. So if you're using line out, I think for either 4.4 or 3.5, you can change the gain from low, high, or medium. And then for your headphone jack output, that's where you can change the output here from standard to high. So that's what this P means. The P means powered output, I think. So yeah, line out, you can change your gain setting here, and then the powered out, which is your headphone jacks, you can change the, when you're not in line out mode, then you can change your setting here from standard to high volume, high output, or high gain. So yeah, that's their balance. You can change the left-right balance, as you can do in most music players. PCM digital filter, I have it set to short delay sharp. I don't know if there's a big difference between these, honestly. They are on a lot of DAPs. You can change the digital filters on them. I don't know if there's a big difference, but I'll leave it here. DSD digital filter, you can change from narrow bandwidth to wide bandwidth. Equalizer, so you can change your EQ here as well. There's 10 band EQ. So it's okay, you know, not like parametric or anything, but 10 band is good enough for basic EQ, I would say. And then you can choose from the preset EQs, like, yeah, your standard pop, blues, metal, rock, vocal, and stuff, which I usually don't use. So play through folders, play through albums, and then album art, you can change that. Then if you go to the system setting, You have Wi-Fi, which is only just for system updates. It's not for streaming or anything like that. So yeah, unfortunately you can't stream on the N8, but you do have Wi-Fi. It's just for over-the-air updates for firmware and stuff. Bluetooth, you can do that here. Language, time setting, font size, background image, backlight time, lock screen, key lock settings, LED. Yeah, so you have some other settings for the player here. And that's it. Overall, the UI is okay. It's not like great or anything like that. I would say probably on par with some of the earlier Aston and Kern players. Like, it's not great UI, but it's enough for just being a basic pure audio player, I would say, which this is. So it's not going to be as good as, like, say, a Sony Walkman UI or my Lotoo UI. Yeah, speaking of which, that's a player I really would want to compare this to, because this retailed for 3,000. Well, this limited edition was 3,700, but the normal edition was like 3,300, I want to say, or 200. That's a lot of money, you know. Still is today, but especially back in 2018. So when this came out, it was one of the most expensive players on the market. And one of the main competitors is a DAP that I also have, which is the Lotoo Paw Gold Touch. So I also have this one. And this is by a Chinese company called Lotoo. And they were kind of in competition with Cayin. Although I would say now, like back then and now, Cayin maybe is a little bit better known than Lotoo is. But yeah, this one, the Paw Gold Touch, retailed for 3,200 back in 2018. So they came out the same year. They retailed for around the same price. I kind of want to do a comparison between the two because I got the N8, which uniquely, it has a unique form factor, unique navigation, and the tube output, which is really cool. The Lotoo does not have that. However, the Lotoo, it does have a much better UI, in my opinion, and it's a more reference-sounding digital audio player. So, yeah, also they use the same DAC. The N8 uses two AK4497, and the Lotoo uses one, I believe. The Paw Gold Touch uses one AK4497. So even DAC-wise, they're kind of similar as well. We can boot it up, this one up, and this one, it's got a pretty fast boot up time. But yeah, when it comes to the OS of the Lotoo, I think it's no comparison. Like, yeah, they both are pure audio players, right? Like, there's no streaming going on with either of them. In fact, the Lotoo does not even have internal storage. The N8 at least has 128 gigabytes of internal storage, right? The Paw Gold Touch does not have any internal storage. I think that's why it comes with this full-size SD card slot here. Full size because back then there wasn't such thing as a 512 gigabyte micro SD. That did not come out at the time. I think it may have come out that year, but anyways, the full-size SD stored more at the time. So I think Lotoo provided the full size so that you get more storage space out of it. Makes sense because they don't have any internal storage on it. Actually, I'm not sure why they don't give you any internal storage on the Lotoo. They should. But yeah, when it comes to UI, I think there's no comparison here. The Lotoo Paw Gold Touch is just much faster. So like, yeah, just going back, you know that search I did for the Le Seraphim, right? So right, I can do that. I mean, it's cool that I saved the recent search, so that's good. You don't have to necessarily search for the same thing again. But yeah, you have to go through this T9 keyboard here to like search for stuff. Like if I want Bruno Mars and stuff, I have to do this, right? Or actually, let's go Ariana Grande. So if I want to search for Ariana Grande, right, we have to go. Whoops. Oh, why is there two ABCs? Well, I'm confused. I'm pressing the wrong one. Okay, this one's... Why is there two ABCs? Okay, I think this one is to switch between ABC and number. Okay, I get it. So this is another confusing thing, right? This is the real ABC that you use for typing. This ABC is to switch between number and characters. So disregard this ABC here. That's for switching between characters and numbers here. This is the ABC you want to use. That is confusing. Okay. Call this something different. Anyways, whoops. There we go. So you do that. Oh, no, didn't find any. Let's try again. I just search for a song name. Okay, I'm gonna call the Moonlight. Okay. Hate this T9 keyboard. Okay. Okay, there we go. So that found it. So yeah, that's the song I want. So I play it. It's got to preheat the vacuum tube. If you have the tube mode on, you got to wait for that. Okay, then it's playing. Then I press the home button, and then we get to the song, or this button right here. Okay, so that's how you search for a song, right? Kind of tedious, right? On the N8. So this is how fast it is on the Lotoo. Okay, all I had to do is I got to pull down from the top, and I search for Moonlight. You see how fast this is? Okay, and then I find it here, and it's here. That's it. So see how much faster that was on the Lotoo Paw Gold Touch, right? So the UI for the Lotoo is just way better, and Austria's a little bit lighter too. This is 380. This is like 310. So the Lotoo Paw Gold Touch it's still kind of a brick, sure. Like if you want to compare the size, they're both thick boys. Yeah, the N8 is definitely, yeah, it's like especially because of these guards right here, man. It does feel like even more of a brick. But I mean, they're both thick boys, right? They're both thick boys here. But the one that's heavier is definitely the N8. The N8 is heavier. The Lotoo is still kind of heavy, but not too bad. You know, I can still carry this. So yeah, this one is like, okay, I want to go back to a previous track. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna pause it like that. Okay. So yeah, out of these two, basically the difference is that the N8, first of all, the DAC is about the same. I mean, this has two AK4497, this has one, but pretty much the DAC is similar. This one just has a tube output. This one does not. This one, it looks more unique, I would say. It's a more unique looking DAP. This one just looks like a standard DAP with the top dial and everything. I mean, they both have 4.4, right? This one has an extra dedicated line out, and this one also has the I2S port, which is nice. The Lotoo doesn't have that. But yeah, in terms of I/O, right, the N8 wins because it has a little bit more I/O. Player-wise and UI-wise, I think the Lotoo is better. Like you guys just saw from that search, right? Of course, if you organize your music better, you don't need search, then that's... Yeah. Still, though, even then, like, the Lotoo is just faster, right? If I want to go to all songs, like, look how responsive this is. Like, I can just... It's so responsive, right? I can just go up, go down, like this. It's so responsive on the Lotoo. Whereas on the N8, if I want to do the same thing, like, this is all songs, right? Okay. You see how, like, this one is... It's still responsive, just not quite as much as on the Lotoo. So, and I think I have even more songs loaded on Lotoo right now. So it's like, okay, this is how responsive the interface is on the N8. Whereas on the Lotoo, yeah, it's a little bit more responsive. And I know you don't see the album art on the Lotoo, but it's, yeah, this one takes time to load the album art, so you can kind of see the album art. That's nice. But if you go to, let's go to album list here. If you go to album list, then it can load the album art, of course. Yeah. Then you can see kind of the album art here. So yeah, you could, this has album art too. It's just only not on the songs list. If you go to album view, albums here, okay. So yeah, I just feel the Lotoo is just much more responsive. Well, it's not a lot more actually. Just it's a bit more responsive. I should say a little bit more responsive. I shouldn't say a lot, but it is more responsive. That's the thing, you know. The N8 does feel like a slight amount of lag to it, whereas the Lotoo doesn't have any lag. It's just so fast. Yeah, the response time of the Lotoo is just almost instantaneous. There's no lag to anything. And then when I load songs onto the Lotoo, it takes like I have like maybe 20,000 songs on the SD card here on the Lotoo, and it took maybe like 10-15 seconds to index all of them, I want to say. Whereas, you know, the N8 takes longer than that. And then for Aston Kern players, like it takes 20-30 minutes, I want to say, on my SP3000M that I had before. So both are faster than the Aston Kern, but out of these two, the Lotoo is definitely faster. So anyways, yeah, I think in terms of UI, the Lotoo is better. Go back to here, and this you got to press on that. Okay. Yeah, they're both pure audio players, and I think they both have their strengths, and they both I think sound really good. But it's just like you got to use the tube output on the N8, right? Because this is the selling point of the N8 is having that tube output. But yeah, both pretty nice players. So I'm gonna test both of these out and give you guys my subjective impressions, because I think these two will be the ones I'm deciding between keeping. I'm only gonna keep one. Both of these came out the same year for about 3,000, 3,200, like around that area. They both came out around the same price, and I would say they're pretty competitive against each other if you're talking about flagship digital audio players from back then. So yeah, I'm gonna test both of these out and tell you which one I like better. I can already tell like Lotoo kind of has, yeah, it's got the UI going for it right now. So even if when I haven't even listened to the N8, I already kind of tell the Lotoo is already ahead because of the UI. And the UI is really important, right? Because something you'll be interacting with every day that you use this player. But sound quality in the end does matter, right? So I got to take into consideration the sound quality of the N8. So yeah, let's compare it. Paw Gold Touch versus N8. Which one is going to win? Stay tuned for that. Okay, so now I'm going to test out the two DAPs and tell you guys what I feel about them. So first I'm going to check out the Lotoo Paw Gold Touch because this has been my main music player for like the past month, I would say. And then the new N8, okay? Or I should say new. They're technically both players from 2018, but you know, I like to buy these old flagship players because I think they're pretty good value. I got this one for $1,300 and then this one for $1,000, and both retailed for like 3,000 something, right? So the headphones I'll be using to test is the Dan Clark Nora X. These are my go-to full-size headphones, just for everything now. Whether it be closed back or open back, I just prefer these. These are my favorite full-size headphones under $1,000. Right, so yeah, listen to them both. First goes the Lotoo Paw Gold Touch, which I'm gonna play the same songs on each, so A/B test them. Right. By the way, the Lotoo has 500 milliwatts of output on the balanced, and the Cayin has 400 milliwatts of output on balanced. So the Lotoo has a little bit more power, but it's not like by much. Right. Okay, so yeah, after testing both of these music players out for a bit, I'll give you guys my impressions of them. So yeah, with the N8, I tested it using both the solid state output and the tube output. Of course, I tested both. And first, my impressions of the solid state output. So the Lotoo Paw Gold Touch has, it's kind of like a neutral reference sound is what people describe it. Although I don't call it really especially neutral, because I think it's actually neutral but still musical, whereas compared to like Astral and Kern players, where I feel like it's so neutral that it feels a little bit like clinical or like analytical to me, and it doesn't feel like it has as much musical depth and body to the sound, whereas I feel like the Lotoo Paw Gold Touch actually does have that while remaining kind of referenced and neutral. So I feel like it's neutral, but it's like the musical neutral, if you know what I mean. It's like not too analytical. So I do like the Lotoo Paw Gold Touch's sound. And I feel like the N8 on the solid state output is pretty close, honestly. Like solid state output wise, they both have the same DAC, right? AK4497. So I guess I'm not too surprised. They do sound pretty close to each other. Like both on the solid state, this doesn't have a tube, so this is just, yeah, always using the solid state. But if I use the solid state output for the N8, then yeah, it sounds pretty close. If I had to say, maybe Lotoo Paw Gold Touch is a little bit wider soundstage and more like a little bit more air around the notes, whereas the N8 might have like a little bit of a blacker background, maybe slightly more detail, but it's very, very hard to like it's hard to distinguish, you know, like the margin is so small between these two. Yeah, it's pretty hard. Yeah, if I had to say, like soundstage a little bit wider in the Paw Gold Touch, a little bit more air around the notes. N8, little bit blacker background, maybe like a touch more detail, but not really. It's like 5%, you know, it's a very, very small difference if I had to say. So yeah, and I really kind of have to listen closely on the same songs. But they're pretty much equal on the when N8's in solid state mode. So then I switched to the tube output on the N8. So one annoying thing about the tube output is that it's only on 3.5, right? Because it's only on 3.5, then I have to use this 3.5 to 4.4 millimeter adapter, because most of my headphones and IEMs are using 4.4 cables, which I think most people, when they use modern IEMs and like higher end headphones, they're gonna have 4.4. So you're gonna need an adapter 3.5 to 4.4 if you want to use the tube output, because the tube output's only on 3.5. So yeah, that's just kind of like a minor annoyance, right? Having to use an adapter. But the tube output, yeah, I have to say that this one does sound probably the most tubey out of all the tube digital audio players I've listened to. That includes like Shanling M8T or Astron Kern SP3000T, Cayin N3 Ultra. All these like tube digital audio players don't even sound really that tubey. Even Cayin's successor, the N8 II, doesn't really sound as tubey as the original N8. So the original N8 does sound definitely warmer. Like you definitely get that tube type of sound out of it. Warmer, the treble roll off, and some might say more musical sounding, or like analog sounding, right? So you get that musical warmth out of the tubes. It doesn't increase the detail or anything, or soundstage. It doesn't increase any of that. It's just a tonality change. So when you use the tube output of the N8, I would say this probably gets the closest to being like a real tube sound. Very warm, and yeah, it's got kind of that musicality to it, and the treble notes are a bit rolled off. So if you guys have bright headphones or bright IEMs, then the tube output might tame that because it's a bit warmer. But honestly, it's not unique to something that's with a tube digital audio player. Like if you use a digital audio player with an R2R DAC, like something like my Hibi or Hibi RS6, that one has an R2R DAC in it. That sounds pretty warm as well, and I can get pretty close to like a tube type of sound with that kind of DAC. So I would say if you really want to have a tube sound, you don't necessarily need to buy a digital audio player with a tube inside of it. And in some cases, a lot of cases actually, if you buy a digital audio player with a tube inside of it, it doesn't even sound that tubey anyways. The N8 is so far the only one that actually does sound like it has a tube inside of it. And yeah, even then, I feel like if you get an R2R DAC, like a player, a digital audio player with an R2R DAC inside of it. I know Fire was coming out with the M33 soon, and iBase was coming out with the DX270 that has R2R DAC. But like something like the Hibi RS6 or RS8, yeah, that has R2R DACs inside of it. That sounds pretty warm like a tube, actually. So you don't necessarily even need to buy a digital audio player with a tube. If you want to have that warm type of musical sound, you just get an R2R DAC, and it's got a similar type of tone or tonality or timbre to it. But anyways, yes, the tube output does make it sound like a tube. Warmer, you can say maybe slightly more musical, although I don't like necessarily hear it as more musical than the solid state mode. But I think solid state mode on the NA is fairly musical anyways to begin with, so it's not like it's cold or anything. Yeah, so just the tube output will add more warmth. Will roll off the treble a bit, so if you have bright headphones and bright IEMs, it might tame that down. Otherwise, it's not like, yeah, it's not going to give more soundstage or detail than the regular solid state mode. It doesn't change any of the technicalities there. So overall, sound quality wise, it's pretty much a toss-up. I mean, if you really want the warmth of a tube and the natural, you know, kind of tube type of tone to it, then yes, the N8 will give you that on the 3.5 only, but you do have access to that. If you guys want a more cleaner reference type of sound, the Lotoo will do that, but N8 will still do that too on the solid state mode. The main difference here is not really the sound, I don't think. So it's not going to come down to the sound unless you really want that tube warmth. It's, for me, yes, the tube warmth is interesting, like it's an interesting tonality shift, but it doesn't change the sound quality. It just changes the timbre and the tonality of the sound, right? It doesn't change the sound quality. It's not going to increase the amount of detail or anything. So to me, that's just kind of what kind of tonality do you prefer? You know, if you like tubes, then yeah, N8, of course, this is one of the only DAPs on the market that actually sounds like it has a tube in it. So this is good. But for me, it's like, it's fine. Like, I don't have to have a something with a tube in it necessarily. You know, I have an R2R DAP actually, the Hy-B RS6, which has something similar. You know, that has an R2R DAC that makes it sound a bit warmer. I have something that's similar, so I don't necessarily need to have something with a tube in it to get that sound. But otherwise, if you're not looking for the tube sound, then I would say the Lotoo wins just based on the UI. It's not based on sound quality. So I'm going to say the differences here is not going to be on the sound quality, because sound quality wise, they're pretty close to each other. I would say that if you're going to choose one over the other, for me, I'm going to base it on more on the UI, because that aspect is pretty important to me. Like if I'm going to be using this DAP every day, when I go outside, when I'm traveling, when I'm at the gym, I'm going to be interacting with it always. So yes, sound quality is important, but in this case, both of them have pretty similar sound quality. The major difference just being the N8 has the tube tonality to it. So the difference is like the Lotoo, when it comes to the UI, actually has a much better UI. It's much easier for me to find my music, because I use the search feature a lot. I know not all people do. Some people just organize really well and they don't need the search feature. They just go into folders and they can find whatever artist that they want because they organize really well. So I'm not a very good organizational person, and my songs are kind of just scattered all over the place, honestly. So I really do need that search feature. And the Lotoo just has a much better search feature. This search feature is just way better than the one on the N8. You guys saw the N8 with the T9 keypad. There's no way I'm going to use that daily. That's, yeah, that's off the table. You know, I'm not going back to the 2000s by using a T9 keypad again for the search. So I use search a lot. That's the main way I find my music. And for that reason, yeah, the Lotoo is just so much better when it comes to that. So yeah, I'm going to say that for me, out of these two, not to mention the fact that the Lotoo is a bit easier to carry as well. So like this thing is like slightly lighter as well, right? This thing a little bit bigger. I mean, if you want to see the size difference here, I mean, you can see that let's just say that the chin here, there's a little chin here, right, for the N8. So the difference is just this little chin part here, but also that the N8 is a little bit heavier as well. So in terms of carrying it in my pocket, yes, the Lotoo will win on that case as well, because it's a bit lighter and a little bit smaller, you know. Yeah, really, I would say in almost every area, I would choose the Paw Gold Touch, except for if you really want that tube sound, then yes, the N8 will have that. Also, if you care about uniqueness, I guess, because yes, the N8 is a very unique type of player. Like the Lotoo is more traditional. It has, you know, previous button, next button, play pause. It's a more traditional type of player. It has buttons for navigation and everything. But the Lotoo has a dial for that. So it's like the only DAP I know that uses this kind of system. So it's kind of unique in that aspect. Yeah, but that's like if you really want to like just get this based on uniqueness or something. Like if for a collection, I can see this happening. Like, okay, for my DAP collection, I want to have really unique DAP around that's 2-powered. Then okay, the N8 is a pretty unique looking DAP that's also 2-powered. So it's nice for a little DAP collection, I would say. For a daily driver, I don't see myself using it that much, honestly. I just reach for my Lotoo more because this, honestly, yes, it has some friction on the UI. It's not the worst UI. You know, I've used Luxury and Precision E7, which that was a horribly laggy UI, especially considering the price of that player. The Astone Current SC300 has a pretty laggy UI as well. Those are worse. The Hydits AP80, the snow ski stuff, that UI is much worse for me. So the N8 is not the worst UI, but it's still got some friction to it when I use it, you know? Like, I'd still much rather use a Sony Walkman or the Lotoo. Those are like, yeah, those are faster UIs for me to use. Or the Hy-B, you know, my Hy-B RS6 with the Android, the full Android operating system, or even the successor, you know, the N7, not the successor, but a newer Cayin player like the N7. Yeah, that runs full Android. Really, really nice UI. Very fast and responsive. So I'd probably just use an Android player over one of these things. It's just faster, more responsive. So yeah, I think that's my thoughts, you know. It really depends what you guys are looking for if you guys are choosing between these two, you know. Now, I'm not sure, like, who's gonna have the same situation as me, choosing between two $3,000 DAPs from 2018. I'm not sure if anyone else is going to be in this situation. Maybe it's just unique to me. But for this video, you know, I wanted to compare this to. I want to choose, hey, which one of these $3,000 2018 digital audio players should I go with? Both of them have the same DAC. Both of them released around the same price, around the same time. I want to choose just one for my, you know, DAP needs. And yeah, I have to say that I'll probably go, for me, I'll probably go with the Lotoo because sound-wise, they're pretty similar. So it comes down to outside of the sound, right? And that's the navigation and the UI. And that's something I interact with all the time if I'm going to be using it as a digital audio player. And then the Lotoo operating system is just much, much faster. Easier for me to search, easier for me to get to my music. The N8, yeah, like, you have a long list of songs to scroll through. It's a little bit more laggy than on my Lotoo, and searching is just kind of a pain. I think the touchscreen is also a little bit less responsive too. Like sometimes I have to like touch this multiple times to get it to you know, respond to me. So the touchscreen is a little bit more unresponsive on the N8, I would say. The major advantage, I would say, the only major things that N8 has over the Lotoo is just the tube output. Which just makes it sound a little bit warmer. Yes, it does actually sound like you're listening through a tube, but again, I can kind of approximate that by using an R2R DAP like my Hobby RS6. So, you know, I might not totally be missing that. So, yeah, I don't know. Other than that, the uniqueness of the N8, I guess, because it doesn't look like any other DAP on the market with the dual dials here and this kind of like chin here, I guess. It just looks pretty unique. Honestly, it does look really cool, you know, like very, very luxury looking, especially the brass black version with the 24K, you know, plated gold knobs and everything, Dignus case. Yeah, this button right here, which is silver, I believe, on the regular version, the stainless steel version, but it's gold here, which actually lights up when you play a song. So if I play a song like this, yeah, so see, I got to preheat the tube. That's something that's a minor annoyance too. You got to preheat the tube. Yeah, so it'll light up like this, and you have the tubes light up. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But then the Lotoo does have something that lights up too. So if I play music on the Lotoo, Paw Gold Touch, you guys can see this thing, the LED ring here lighting up, right? So the LED ring here lights up. So the Lotoo does have something that lights up too. Around the dial, there's a little LED ring here that lights up, and the Cayin has this thing that lights up. So both of them have something that lights up. So yeah, that's cool. I mean, yeah, so pretty much would I go with this heavier player that's not quite as friendly to use, looks kind of awkward actually, but also kind of unique, but it has this tube output? Or do I go for the player that's like a little bit more conventional looking, but faster UI, and it's just overall there's less friction to use, you know? I'm gonna have to go with the Lotoo eventually, I think. It's just, unless I keep this just for home use and then I just have it as part of my DAP collection, you know? That's pretty much, if I'm going to keep this, is pretty much that'll be the reason why I keep it. It's like I'll keep it as part of my DAP collection for at-home use, because it is kind of cool, right? The form factor is kind of cool, and it actually does sound like a tube, so that is kind of cool, I guess. But as a daily driver, I'm gonna have to go with the Lotoo Paw Gold Touch. It's just yeah, when it comes down to it, it's just a little bit lighter, more portable. UI is more responsive, easier for me to get to my songs, you know. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go with this for my daily driver. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. The Cayin N8. Now, I know I compared it to Lotoo, but you know, this is actually a player that's kind of hard to find as well. There's a new version, the GT2, but it's still kind of expensive, right? It's hard to, the newer version is still expensive on the market, so it's kind of hard to get the GT2 even for like a discounted price. So anyways, if you guys are watching this video, you're interested in the N8, right? So that's my thoughts on the N8. Is like, it is a very unique digital audio player. It still looks very unique. I haven't seen any other digital audio player that looks like this, with the 2 dials, one of them for actually navigation through your playlist, and then actually sounding like a tube, you know? But there are a lot of friction with using this player, for sure. The UI could be better. It's not the worst UI, but definitely could be better, you know, especially for searching. You're using the T9 kind of keypad for searching. I mean, at least it has search. Not every one of these digital audio players has search. Like my Sony Walkman WM1A doesn't have a search function at all, but the Cayin at least has a search. But yeah, it's definitely not great to use. 3.5 millimeter output only for the tube output. So if you want to listen to tubes, which is probably the main reason you're getting this anyways, you're going to have to use an adapter for your 4.4. The tubes require preheating before you play a song. I mean, it's only like, if you haven't played a song like 5 minutes, it's got to preheat it. So it could be a little bit of minor annoyance as well. And then, yeah, it is like more on the heavy side. 380 grams is like, yeah, it's not like that light. So it's kind of just like a small little brick, but it's at least kind of compact. I can kind of hold it in my hand like this. Like the N8 II, the successor, or if you want to go with the bigger, more modern DAPs like the FiO M27 or iBasil DX340 or Aston Current SP4000, those are massive beasts. You know, those are all bigger and heavier than this. So at least this one is still pocketable, I guess. It's just, you know, a little bit more on the heavy side. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Cayin N8, guys. I'm gonna have a sound comparison test coming up. I'm gonna be playing from the solid state output as well as the tube output, so if you guys can hear the difference. Tube output definitely, to me, sounds warmer. Definitely has more of a tube timbre to it. Treble notes rolled off a bit. Yeah, it's like similar but slightly different from how an R2R DAC sounds, I would say. But if you want to have an approximation of a tube type sound, then I would say, yeah, get an R2R DAC. But like most of the tube powered players on the market don't even sound like tubes anyways. Like this is one of the only ones that actually sounds like it has tubes in it. The rest of them are kind of like, it has a tube, but it doesn't really sound like it has a tube in it. So I would recommend, if you guys are looking for tube type sound, yes, the N8 is an option, but if you're looking for a newer digital audio player, instead of getting the ones that have a tube in it, like the M8T or the SP3000T, instead of that, just get an R2R DAP. Yeah, those ones will approximate the tube type of sound with its warmth, especially like the, not every R2R, because like some of them like Aston and Current tune their R2R DAPs to sound like a non-R2R DAP, which I was like, okay, what's the point? You know, why even make an R2R DAP if you're not gonna make it sound like one? But still, you know, I would say in general the R2R DAPs on the market are probably the way to go if you're looking for like kind of a tube flavor type of sound, rather than the tube powered DAPs on the market. I know it's kind of like a counterintuitive, but the N8 is like the only one that actually does sound like it has a tube inside of it. So another thing to keep in mind is that both the Lotoo Paw Gold Touch and the Cayin N8, these are pure music players. So there's no streaming support on either of these. They're just meant for offline music listening. So if you guys are using streaming services like Tidal, Spotify, Qobuz, Deezer, Apple Music, etc., it's not going to work on these. Like the Wi-Fi does exist on the N8, but it's only just for over-the-air updates, not for any streaming apps. So neither of them really support any streaming apps. If you're going to use streaming apps, I would recommend using an Android player, right? Just get the newer Cayins, all have Android, N8 II, and well, the higher end ones anyways, N7, N8 II, they support Android, N6 III as well. Lotoos, they just don't support any, even the newer GT2 does not support Android or the streaming services. They're kind of old school in that sense. But yeah, if you guys are looking for streaming music and stuff, I'm personally an offline music guy. I just load all my songs onto microSD, so I'm okay with either. But if you guys are used to listening to music from streaming services, yeah, then I recommend getting an Android player instead. And both of these are a little bit dated anyways, right? If you're going to look for streaming services, it's better just to look for a more modern player. Yeah, both of these are kind of older players from 2018. For old school, like offline music listening, yes, they're still pretty good. But if you're looking for, you know, more modern streaming support, neither of these are going to have it. So yeah, that's where I kind of recommend getting some newer players, so some of the newer Cayins for that. Yeah, let me know in the comments section below which one you guys prefer. So I'll have a sound comparison test coming up playing the same songs. and yeah, I'll use the N8 with the solid state output and the tube output. Let me know if you guys prefer the N8 with the tube sound and the kind of unique design, or the Lotoo Paw Gold Touch, more of a conventional DAP design, but I would say smoother UI and just better for general everyday use. Yeah, let me know which one you guys would prefer out of these two. Two flagship $3,000 digital audio players from 2018. Yeah, which one would you pick out of these two? Let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching.
The sun is setting and you're right here by my side, and the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held you. The sun is setting and you're right here by my side, and the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held The sun is setting and you're right here by my side, and the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held
Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find there. Another road where maybe I could see another side there. Ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life.